What?
Hello, everyone. How we doing out there? You guys ready to talk these amazing recommendations?
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
I don't know about you guys, but that opening still gets me pumped.
It's good.
I know, right?
Good one. You guys good.
Well, for the audience out there, just to kind of run down what we're doing here is we're going over our recommendations that we recommended out on the last Collectors Club episode. So when we did our campfire recommendations, we were recommending spooky and horror titles. So if you're like, why are these all horror themed? And we're in November. Well, that is why. But it's still going to be fun to finally talk about these because we've all watched them now. I'm sure there's going to be a rant or two in here, so that should be a lot of fun. And just a reminder out there, audience, if you love movies or collecting, just like us on the panel, go ahead and slash that like and subscribe. Haunt us through those super chats because if you want to ensure that your message is read, definitely look at those. And then check out memberships for exclusive content like choosing future topics. And then, of course, collect some Collectors Club merch out there. You know, look at how amazing this stuff is. So, but let's check into the comments real quick just to see who is out there. We got the notorious Nemo saying what this is. Well, hopefully I just explained it for you.
Giant turkey?
We got Adrian out there saying hello. Got KB. Hey, clubbers. What's up, party people? Oh, tonight will definitely be a party. Holland Oates is here, so you know it's going to be a party.
So we know he's okay. He's there.
And we got Basement Blues here as well. We got Kitten Paws in the chat.
Hey, babe.
Huck is just everywhere. We got Movie Hunter 2020 saying hello, everybody. Derek's in the chat as well. Tim's in the chat as well. I mean,
we're everywhere.
Just rocking it. Let's see. And then we got Sarah out there as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Huck, you ready to run down all your recommendations?
Oh yeah. I'm ready.
I love that enthusiasm.
All right, look. So I'm glad we're sort of in this order because, God damn it, Derek, I'm going to talk about Bone Tomahawk first. And look. All right. So, well, oh my God. All right. So I appreciate the recommendation because while it is a Western, not my strongest, but there are Westerns that I enjoy. And it's got Kurt Russell. So I felt like very in good hands, if you will.
We'll do this
until the movie started. So here's the thing. The movie moves along like it's a mini series. It felt longer than it was. I felt like it was like a two-part or like a 2-night event. Because I'm like, God, slow, boy. Yeah, it's like, well, you can tell like they had no budget, like it's very low budget. So I think they really utilized their surroundings and environment as long as they could all the time. And it did build up some suspense and all that stuff. And there was great cameos. I mean, the cast was out of this world. Like even the small, like Michael Pare and Sean Young and David Arquette, just like, you know, banger names just popping up. I'm like, oh, this is going to be like Silverado with the cast, you know? And that's about where it is right there. So what happens is, you know, if you guys don't know, like, there's a prisoner that's taken and left in the jail, and that's David Arquette. And then overnight they are kidnapped. One of the guys who's got a broken leg or an infected leg, his wife, and David Arquette, and then the deputy, they're all kidnapped by these, what would you call them? Troglodytes, they call them for some.
Yeah, they're like cannibalistic.
Like cannibal, like yes, like they're not Indians
Atheists
because
or whatever
people
you wanna
thought they were
call it.
Indians. Like no, they're these things that are beyond description. And so thus I think the horror element, which is why they're saying it's like a horror western, but it's more just like a gore western, as Kurt Russell I think said.
Probably.
And so it's a road trip, right? Because it's Kurt Russell and 3 other characters go to get them back, and one of them is the guy with the bum leg. So of course things happen and they lose their horses, so they have to leave him behind at some point. But man, dude, and I'm glad I'm talking about yours first, because this really, it like kind of, no lie, it kind of freaks me out to think about the scene in the end, and without totally giving stuff away. But there's a character that's literally, and I'm warning you too when I say this, is scalped, and it was absolutely horrific, that moment. And then what happens to him after that? Holy shit, Derek! That's what I'm talking about. That I had to. I am not kidding. I had to put my hands up like this and try like that one eye right there and just barely consume what I knew was happening. Because that was, I mean, and I guess we're all learning about each other too. Like that stuff just pumps you up, but it does not pump me up. Like Tim shaking his head like, fuck yeah, let's watch that new. Yeah, I was like, I mean, God bless you guys if you love that, but hell no. And I will say this, I can thank you, Derek, because as soon as that moment happened, right after the scalping, you know what I'm talking about. And I'll save it for everybody. If you guys want to see it, I won't even tell you what happens to let you enjoy and have the same moment I had. But that is the moment I went on Amazon and I canceled my pre-order for that Steelbook. I'm like, there's no way I want that in my collection, and I'll never watch it again. That was how Mike's all laughing, but that's how like horrific that scene was. So I don't know.
I've never seen it, so I don't know. I'm like, do I want to watch it more now or less?
Yeah,
I'm like,
I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like when it comes to like a horror movie, like Jason, like we'll just take Halloween Kills, because that's when people are like, hey, Evil Dies Tonight. As bad as those moments were, though, the kills were stupendous in Halloween Kills. For me, I thought those were great. Like I wasn't like, oh, through my fingers. I was just like, ah, dang. But like the kills in this were so real. I mean, like kind of like unnerving. And even with Kurt Russell, what was happening to him, I'm like, it was just no, it's just too real, and I can't. So
that's why I actually find scarier is horror movies like that seem real, because most horror movies aren't realistic whatsoever, and I find them funny. But that movie is just like disturbing because it looks and feels so real. And I remember when Terrifier 2 was coming out, people were saying there was a scene just like the one you're talking about in that movie.
So I may need to not.
And my wife saw that with me, and she's like, "That's it. Bone Tomahawk was cooler than that." So the first.
Oh my gosh! See, I can barely handle Terrifier 2, so I'm like, okay, don't need to watch.
Terrifier 2 is more over the top gory. This is more realistic gory for like actual reasons.
It's not even more real. It is realistic. It is frighteningly realistic. Tim, well, come on, there's something in your head you're dying to say.
So what I'm going to throw out there is, have you ever heard of the movie Brawl in Cell Block 99? It's a Vince Vaughn
movie.
one
with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. All right. Don't watch that then. So that's the same director, and that movie gets incredibly graphic.
That was probably more graphic than Bone Tomahawk.
Okay, thank you for saving me 2 hours.
With the exception of that one scene, it's worse, I would say. And I saw that first. And I watched it in a row because I had to show my wife right afterwards.
Yeah. Brawl is insane. So you'll run across that movie cheap, just pass by it. Don't pick it up then.
Unless you really love Vince Vaughn.
I feel bad for recommending it out in my deal videos now. I had no idea.
I like it. I watched it a couple of times.
Maybe it's a fun time. I don't know. Vince Vaughn is probably a comedy,
No, it's not. It is. It's one of the most serious movies Vince Vaughn is that I've seen him do. Like there's zero comedy. It's a movie.
He's very stoic and just like, he's just like a tank of a person. That's crazy.
Pretty much. Yeah, the base plot idea, by the way, for Cell Block 99 is he has to kill somebody that is basically in a solitary confinement. So he has to work his way through the prison system to get to this guy. He has to do stuff along the way.
Yeah. He has to punch his way to him. Yeah, to get to like this prison dungeon to kill this one specific person.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass.
It's awesome.
Me and Huck are
But-
like, no, we'll just watch Freaky instead.
I mean, in 1,000 days, I would watch Freaky 1,000,000 times before yeah. Eric, I'm so scarred.
So
I'm like, I told my wife left. I'm like, you never would have made it through this film. No.
I don't
what
hear
is
you
that
say that
as-
it's bad though. You just
Yeah. Is that you didn't hear me say it was bad? Okay.
it's just not for you.
I mean,
So,
yeah,
what was
exactly.
that
It was-
recommendation rating then, Huck? What number are you giving it?
Well, recommending it because it's Western and Kurt Russell. I think that's a 3 because like it's not top my genre, but
Right.
as a Western with Kurt and Kurt Russell was in it. Sorry, this is how real this. A 3, but I gotta go. I give you 1.5 for the movie, and the half is because you saved me to going to Amazon and canceling that piece of shit. That's not. Yeah, I mean, I love Kurt, but I can't. That's not.
Well, it's got
Okay.
Matthew Fox in it.
I
He's in
know.
it.
I know. Oh my god. So so I will back up a second and say what I loved. I'm shaking right now. What I loved about it was the surprises with the cast, especially with Matthew Fox, because you're kind of led to think one thing about him, and then there's another. It's like I like that character kept you guessing, and I would have to say that made him my favorite character in the film because you didn't really know where he stood. So I like that a lot.
And I love Richard Jenkins, and anything with him is worth a watch.
Yeah.
He's the one with the bum leg, right? If I'm remembering. I haven't
He's
seen it.
yeah.
Richard Jenkins.
You know,
Yeah.
Aquaman's brother. For those, like Mike.
I
Yeah.
got it. Orm. Yep.
All right. Okay, should I move on? Okay.
Are
I'm
you
gonna
okay,
move on.
Huck? Are you all right?
I'm gonna move on. I can't talk about it anymore. All right, Tim, No One Will Save You. So this was the one that was on Hulu. And Tim knows that he's got me all dialed in my wheelhouse there. I feel like it's a good 4 in a recommendation there. And so this is a story. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Hulu, so go check it out. It's basically there's no words in the movie except for like a tiny amount, like 8 words or something like that she says with purpose. And it's about alien abduction and stuff like that. I don't know, did too much into it, but anyway, okay. So let me get to the gimmick because that's the part I have to get out of the way. So I love a good gimmick, like for something like A Quiet Place, where it's done with like a lot of intentional silence, like that. I never felt the gimmick. There were several times in this film where I'm like, say something, like it just feels like any person on the planet would speak at this moment, no matter. So I get the gimmick, but the gimmick felt once in a while, it showed itself to me. And then I got back into it and then it was cool. Because that is a hard thing to sustain for the entire film. So, but I applaud them pulling it off. And also because of it, I missed a few details, Tim, and I will say when it was over, I was disappointed. However, I will say this, because I was so disappointed that I missed things, I researched what I missed and went, oh, was that in there? And then I watched it again in the parts like, oh, they did say that that's the other girl's parents. And in written form, because she's writing it down in letters, she's not saying it. So if I went to grab a drink and she's writing, I look up, I missed that note, right? And it's a very key note. So once I sort of reestablished all the little things that locked it in, the movie was even better. So it kind of like brought itself back for me, from the gimmick to just an actual fun flick. And it's got an interesting ending. It's all I can say. We try to give endings away.
I dug the ending a lot. But so what I will say, I'm a person, I grew up as an only child. I talk to myself. So in that situation, I absolutely would have been like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what is this? I know there are those people though, that if there's not another person, they don't speak. Like everything is just internal.
Yeah.
That's why that didn't take me out, because maybe that's a different personality type. But I would absolutely be talking myself. I would be saying all types of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's mostly the moments tend really that for me, it's when the loud bangs came and there's something in the house. Most people go, "Oh my God!" Like you're like, "Who's there?" Like that kind of moment, right? It's that no matter you may be alone, but at that moment, you're gonna start yelling, at least yelling, like like a scream. And she was just like, well, like almost silent screaming, like she didn't even like yell. I'm like, okay, at least yell, like that's yeah. But I'm with you. I'm talking to myself all the time.
Oh God, yeah.
That was
I'm,
like
I'm my
two or
best
three
friend, man. I carry on conversations with myself.
All right, and you're always there to answer yourself. Yeah.
Mike,
what about you? Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that movie yet. I was planning on it, but didn't get to it.
It's really cool. It is good. It's worth watching for sure.
Yeah, you saw it, Derek. So, what's your take on that? On the,
I mean, yeah, pretty much exactly what you said. It's
okay.
Like, at first, I thought she was like actually mute or something, and that's why that was the purpose of that. But then I'm like, oh no, they're just like choosing not to do this. And like you said, it seems unrealistic on occasion. But other than that, I thought it was exactly. It was a gimmick that wasn't like so gimmicky it ruins the movie, but it made it more suspenseful in the long run.
Right. Yeah.
Well. But yeah, it's a well done movie. The little aliens are cool looking.
Yeah, the aliens
being like a lower budget.
They feel a little Stranger Thingsy, and all that. So if you
that's cool.
dig that, which I do.
Aliens, though, I didn't know that.
It's very Signs. It's like that's what it reminded me of, but slightly less stupid.
Yeah, slightly less stupid.
Yeah, Mike. They don't try to. Don't
throw water on them,
hide them, or anything like that. Though you see aliens.
Yeah, at first they do. I kind of wish they waited longer to show you them because that was really the opening is amazing. Like it's so suspenseful when it starts out.
Yeah, and
you just see their shadows and stuff, and like their feet and all that stuff. But then they kind of start showing them too much. Where I'm like,
But they had to because they had to get to the other ones coming in. So
they had to do something.
Yeah, I mean, and the good use of suspense too, like the refrigerator door and the hands coming over and it looks over. I'm like, yeah, cool, man. All right, so let's move on to movie number 3.
Wait, what was this as a movie recommendation?
And I'll also give it a 3. I give that a good solid 3. I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe even with the 0.5 tucked in there. Because I like those kind of movies, and it had I don't even want to telegraph what kind of ending. I'm just saying with the ending it had. That's how I'll say it. Was different, so I appreciated that.
Yeah.
In fact, my wife was like, "How did this thing just end?" I'm like, "Yep, that's how it ended." Yep, that's what happened.
Pretty much. Yeah,
in fact, I think it was because she was watching it with me. We went into the looking up the things we missed together, or mostly me because she was in and out. She's like, watch another one of your movies. Speaking of another movie, here we go. So Unhinged is the only one I had a hard copy of. It's the one that Mike recommended with Russell Crowe. Mike's had the blank version.
Sorry,
you just hold up? Mine is a blank sheet of paper. Oh,
there we go. I had to show the slippy.
Mine did not come with a slip. So, okay. So, this was really interesting. I've never heard of this film before. In fact, I picked this up at a swap meet because Mr. Nichols said, Huck, you just need to get it. Just deal with it, watch it later, and you'll thank me. And then I put it on the shelf and never thought it. I forgot that I had it. So when you mentioned it, I was very excited to finally, like we all do, we get so many movies and half of them are still sealed. But excellent movie. So good. Like Russell Crowe is so great in this film. Like I didn't know what to expect, but he is. So the title's perfect. It's Unhinged, and they never really tell you why he's unhinged. I mean, if it came out like in a newsreel, maybe I missed it when they're saying, and this guy that came out of the diner, they never say, right?
Yeah, unless I missed it.
Yeah, he's having a rotten ass day. And at the beginning, like some people, they had a bad day, and then it went on from there. And then so this girl comes up behind him and just leans on the horn because she's late to school with her son, and she's always late. And this is going to be his third tardy, and then he gets a detention. So the kid's upset because his mom is causing these problems for him at school by getting these tardies. It has nothing to do with him. He's the one. He's up. He's ready to go, but the mom is just a train wreck. And of course, they're rushed. They get on the freeway, bad choice. They get off the freeway, bad choice. Just one of those days. And then they finally get to the light to make a left. And Russell Crowe's just sitting there like a dill hole, not moving. And then so instead of giving him the courtesy honk, she leans on it, and that sets him off. And then he gives her a chance to apologize, and she doesn't, because she's like, "No, you weren't moving." And he's like, "You ever heard of one of these?" And he gives her a sample test, like courtesy horn.
Courtesy beep.
She doesn't care, and snapped. That was it. He goes, "Well, you're about to find out what a bad day is like." And I was like, "Oh man." And organically, again, that's the gimmick of this thing is the dude having a bad day. Now, how are you gonna piece all that together? And a lot of it, oh my God. So the photography, a lot of the external photography, just driving around town in the traffic and all that stuff, extremely well done. Like for traffic photography, which can normally be quite boring, it was extremely interesting. Like angles, and it felt real, and the chases were really good. I don't know, man. So a few things telegraphed, obviously. Like to me, I'm like, right away, oh, the cell phone without the lock. Oh, where are my candy cane scissors? I'm like, boy, that is so specific. Candy cane scissors. Okay, that is going to come into play. So, little things like that were kind of, but that's okay. You got to set those up for them to matter. But yeah, Mike, I got to say, this is the one. So on recommendation, I'd say like is a 3 because of like, it's just one of those movies, but it's like a 4.5. Like it's closest to a 5 I think I've come on any recommendation, because when it was over, I was like, damn, that was good. Like I was happy with that. Like I could have watched that again like that. So yeah, guys, that was it for Unhinged. I was has anybody seen that?
Yeah. So what's funny is it's very generic at first, where I wouldn't think about it as horror. If I didn't watch it at all and Mike recommended it, like, really that? But there's a lot of horror elements in that
horrific
movie,
stuff. Yeah,
for sure. So that's a cool recommendation. I fully agree. I dig it. I think Vin is right in the chat though, that I think it was marital issues, something with his wife is what was having he was having a bad day at that point. I think it was something along those lines. But
yeah, I still haven't seen it, but yeah, I've heard nothing but surprisingly good things from everybody. It was just one of those like random things that came in theaters like in the midst of COVID, wasn't it? And it was like, here's this movie with Russell Crowe for some reason, and I was like, all right, he hasn't been in anything worthwhile in 10 years, but
it's shockingly
apparently
good.
It's this.
Yeah. It's shockingly good.
Yeah, and he's brutal. Like when he goes after somebody, he's brutal.
The cafe
like the diner. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Is that what you said, Mike? The diner scene?
Yeah, that was like, and it keeps going too.
It
and
keeps
you're just
going.
like, so brutal.
And he doesn't give 2 S's for any of it. He's just like, and he just gets up, walks out, and says, "I gotta keep my revenge going."
The gas station scene too was great. Like I wasn't expecting that at first. I'm like, ooh, okay, that took a turn.
So who's more brutal, Russell Crowe or the indigenous folk from?
Stop! You weren't supposed to bring that back up. I was in a good space. God, Derek. Oh. Move on. I'm done talking.
Honest question.
Yeah, it would be those guys.
Oh, okay.
Russell Crowe would.
Mine's the best.
Lunch. They'd eat his lunch.
So we were in like a perfect order though, of your least favorite to your favorite recommendation.
Yeah, it just happened to work out nicely. Yeah. So I perked up when I got to Mike, and then Derek brought me back down with this dumb question.
Put you back in your place where you belong.
Yeah. Nice. Right on.
All right. On to me.
All right, sunshine. Let's go.
Yep.
All right. So first, Timothy, since he's right there and I'm holding it, gave me the Innkeepers, which I've owned for a while. I bought it for $5 at FYE. So if you need a reason to go there, this is only $5, I guess. It is a Ty West film. By happenstance, my buddy was over at my kid's birthday party last weekend and started talking about how he had just watched X finally, which I still haven't seen. And then we were talking about how good House of the Devil is, which is Ty West's movie he did before this, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he immediately said, The Innkeepers is my least favorite. And then I laughed in his face because I agreed with him so heavily. It's a beautifully made movie. It's shot great. It looks creepy as all get out. I'll give it that. The little ghostly creatures, scary as hell. It's a slow burn movie, which I like. House of the Devil is the same way. Very slow burn movie, but it has a really good payoff at the end. This movie doesn't, to me at least. it just builds up to the point where there's not much of a story that they explain, and then it just kind of ends, and it's like, okay. It's like you got the character actor guy who's good. I can't think of his name, and Aquamarine girl running the hotel for the last weekend they're open. And there's this like ghostly story that haunts that hotel. So they're trying to research it best they can the last weekend they're there. And they find things happening and it's creepy. And then a mysterious guest shows up and it gets creepier. And then it just kind of stops. The end.
Yeah.
So
It's like,
I'm not against
that's what
movies
happened.
that don't explain everything, because
Wow.
I like a little bit of open-endedness. Like I love No Country for Old Men, my favorite movie of all time, more or less. And that movie just kind of stops, and most people hate it, and I love the ending. And other
And
movies
Halloween
like that.
3, which doesn't explain anything, and you guys
Exactly,
love
Halloween 3 I love, and that movie just ends, and it's one of my favorite endings of all time. Prince of
Yeah.
Darkness, same way.
Part of it could also be that I do love just not really telling me a lot of stuff, but I don't know if it's the director's intention or what, but I view The Innkeepers different. It's advertised heavily as it's a ghost movie, and a ghost is on the cover. It's a ghost movie. It's a ghost horror movie. To me, it's a movie about these characters that are in this hotel. It's about those characters. They just happen to be in a haunted hotel. It's not really about where those ghosts came from, why they're there, how do you get rid of them. It's not really about any of that. It's just about these characters. And by the end with the one character, that's it. Story's done, to me at least. Like, I don't want to know any of the other stuff because it's not really about the ghosts. That's at least how I view it. It's just 100% about those two characters, those two lead characters, especially the one. That's how I've always viewed it. And I don't know if that was the intention on the director, or maybe there's the advertising just heavily tries to push that it's a haunted house type movie, and that's not what it feels like it's going for.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like I don't mind most of the movie. Like I like it pretty much all the way through, except for the fact that almost nothing gets explained to the point where it's like just underwhelming, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's wonderfully shot and it looks great, and all the creepy parts are as creepy as they're supposed to be. I'll give it that. But yeah, I'm just like my wife and I actually like recommended it to her parents. We were about halfway through it, and then like we saw them like a week later. They were like, "Did you watch Innkeepers yet?" And they're like, "No, we didn't watch it yet." We're like, "Yeah, you probably don't want to," because we finished it after that.
Yeah. So anyone watching though, if you like things explained or at least decently explained, avoid. Innkeepers doesn't. It's not telling you. It's not telling you about the ghosts, the origin. None of that. None of that is.
I love the way you explain that.
It's
great.
It's just. It's not. It tells you the lead girl's last day, because that's what it is. It's this hotel is closing. This hotel's closing, and these characters have worked at this hotel for a while. It's closing day. It's just their final day. That's what it is. That's what the movie is. This is their last weekend, I should say. It's their last weekend in this hotel. That's the plot.
Yeah. Yeah. As a recommendation, I'd probably say it's like a 4, because I like House of the Devil. I would recommend that one above this one, obviously. As a movie, like it's not like it's well made and everything. I just wasn't into it, so I'd still give it like a 3. Like I would watch it again to see if there was things I may have missed. Kind of like a movie like Hereditary, where a lot of people don't like it because it's so weird and a lot of the little things are in the background. Maybe it's one of those movies, so I would watch it again for that. But yeah, it was underwhelming, even though I wasn't expecting like the best thing ever. From a lot of people seem to either really love this movie, present company included, and a lot of people like despise it on all fronts. Like, so it's just one of those hit and miss things that either you really like it or you really don't like it. It kind of seems like, and I usually fall in the middle of all those movies, and that's kind of where I am on this one. Innkeepers. All right. I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna pop to Huck because I have the copy. I got Invisible Agent in this.
Oh my god! Oh no! Okay.
Yeah. I fell asleep through it the first time I watched it, but that's not the movie's fault. It was late, and it's a slow old 1940s horror movie.
It is.
And I'm tired. Not the movie's fault. Then I rewatched it yesterday afternoon, and I didn't fall asleep through it. I'll give it that. It was fun though. It's not. I wouldn't even say it's a horror movie at all. It's more of like a romantic sci-fi comedy. It's weird. It's like it's way funnier than it is anything.
Mm-hmm.
and it's about World War II, and he's trying to invade the Nazis to get information. Hence why he's an invisible agent, and they're trying to get the invisibility serum and blah blah blah, all that normal stuff. But all in all, I was like kind of in and out of it. Like I didn't love it. It was funny, and then it got funny, and I kind of enjoyed how goofy and funny it was. But by the end of it, I liked it fine. Like it's no Invisible Man, I'll give it that. But it's the second best Invisible Man movie out of this franchise I've ever watched.
You've ever watched?
I've only watched 2.
You haven't seen the other ones yet either, huh?
but yeah, it's definitely a solid movie. Like there's nothing bad about it whatsoever. It's just if you're in the mood for it, kind of a movie.
Yeah,
it's definitely good for when you're in the mood for a good old Universal Monsters sequel. I'll put it that way. Don't watch it over the original, but it still has
no. And I've said it's like the second best one. Like I had a good time with it. I thought it was really well.
Yeah. By the end of it, I was like, oh, this was pretty funny, and like I had a good time with it. And the special effects in it, just like the original one, are like still mind blowing to me. How they can do that, like where he's completely invisible in front of a mirror, and then he adds makeup to his hands and face on like in camera, but his eyes are see through. But Blu-rays and stuff look so good, you can kind of see his eyes because they're like, dissolved through. I'm like, wait, you can kind of see his eyes now after you put the makeup on. It's funny how it works like that. But he's walking around invisible, picking stuff up and throwing it, but he's like literally doing it. But how they cut him out, I think they wore like black sheets or something back then. I forget the method of green screening people out of movies back in those days. But as the first one, it was visually impressive. The story was fun. I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Eventually, but not tomorrow or anything. So I would give it a solid 3.5 across the board, I'd say. Definitely you should watch Invisible Agent, but it's probably not going to end up being your favorite Universal monster movie of all time. I'll give it that.
And well, good. I'm glad you look. And look,
it has Peter Lorre in it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. See, that's the thing. I love Peter Lorre. He was so good. But that's the thing, too. Is when we
weird looking. I'm like, yeah, that's why he has a job.
It's got like 30 movies in the collection, and I'm like, and we tend to not dig into those sequels. We just stick to those main 8. So that's why I wanted to just dive you off to the side and at least check out one of those sequels. So all right, cool.
And I'm glad you did, because I finally only opened this thing like last year, and I watched the main ones essentially. And
there you go.
But nice. Invisible Man is probably my favorite character of all of them, so I'm glad I watched that sequel first. And then what was Mike's? Oh yeah, I had to rent it because I don't. I don't own VFW from 2019 or something like that. I'll be honest, I watched it. There it is. You have it. Great cast, by the way. I watched it sort of while I was prepping and cooking dinner, so I was like 77% watching it.
That's all you need for a movie like this, though.
Exactly, but that was perfect.
Yeah? Why?
Immediately, I got John Carpenter vibes from the score, so I was like, "Well, I like this." Just like listening to the credits and everything, and it's very. Speaking of John Carpenter, Assault on Precinct 13, where as opposed to it being like police protecting a person from gangs trying to get in there, it's this VFW bar protecting this girl who has these drugs from this over-the-top villain drug dealer, and they're protecting her and all their friends and stuff. It's the same kind of premise, and apparently I like this premise. I never thought about it much, but I like last man standing, one location kind of movies like Assault on Precinct 13. So out of the 3 movies I watched, this is the one I had the most fun with.
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm on a hot streak right now.
There you
go. I was like, Stephen Lang is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not William Forsythe. William Sadler is awesome. And you got Fred Williamson, who's awesome. And George Wendt shows up at the bar, which just made me burst out laughing.
That's funny.
George Wendt. I was like, is that? No. Oh, that's great. Which had to be a joke. Like they couldn't have been there on purpose, like for casting reasons. So yeah, that's what it is. It's these old dudes holding up their VFW from some gangsters for 90 minutes, and they kill a lot of bad guys, and it's fun. Like, what more do you want? It's exactly what it was supposed to be. So therefore, I enjoyed it for what it was. There's nothing to complain about. So I would give it a solid. Like Invisible Agent, solid 3.5 out of 5s all the way across the board. It's nothing special, but when you're in the mood for a movie like that, it does the job, and I can't complain. So that's what I think about that one.
Nice.
And it's the highest rated movie out of all three of these. I looked it up after the fact. I'm like, why did I like this the most? And then I went on like IMDb and Metacritic and stuff, and it has the highest score out of those three movies. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. So I'm not wrong. Everyone agrees, according to
like I haven't seen it, but I'm not sure you also sold it to me. But with the cooking and the 77%. And it's like when you're in the mood for a movie like this, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's half of these movies. So you have to be in the mood
I'm
to
in
watch
all of those moods, I'll watch that.
Yeah. If you like Assault on Precinct 13,
Yeah.
you'll probably like VFW. That's the easiest way to put it.
But if I like Assault on the Block, what is it? Assault the Block? Is that it? Attack the Block. Will I like it?
Attack the Block. Attack the Block's fun. If you like
great.
Bone Tomahawk, you'll like Brawl on.
Oh Jesus! Move on, Tim.
Yeah.
Take over. This guy.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with Mike's and go to work our way around to Derek's. So Mike recommended me the movie Cobweb, which he's just about ready to show, I'm guessing, right? Yes. Okay.
There it is.
All right. Mike absolutely killed it on the last few recommendations to me.
This means I did not kill it on this
I
one.
love the setup.
That's okay.
Let's just say I'm going from least favorite to favorite, if you can call favorite, whatever.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So Cobweb is a short movie, and the first 50 minutes, maybe somewhere in there, actually had me pretty into it. The parents are very creepy and unsettling. It's all about this little boy. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's hearing talking and noises on the wall. His parents are just super odd. And I'm wanting to know more of what's going on. And I'm pretty into it. And then, have you guys ever experienced where the last act of a movie can almost save it, or the last act of a movie can absolutely destroy it?
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
The last act
It
of this
happens.
movie is so ungodly fucking terrible that it ruined everything about this movie. Everything. So this is
Wow.
And that's my favorite part.
So I hated the movie Barbarian, which a lot of people loved.
Oh, I love that movie. So good.
Never, ever, ever, ever recommend anything Barbarian-esque to me. That last 30 minutes of Cobweb lost me with the whole. I can't even say it because of, I don't want to spoil it for people, but it's awful. I hated it. It took everything that was good and going for it with the suspenseful, creepy parents and took a dump all over it to turn it into this weird monster. I can't even say it. Oh, I hated the ending so freaking much. This is the one that made me the most mad because it had the most potential and fucked it all up. I was
good.
actually,
That's good.
I was actually mad by the end because at least the other ones kind of had the same thing going for it the whole time. This movie was like, oh, you like what's going on? Screw you. We're going to completely change it. I hate it.
I don't feel bad on your recommendation now, so this is going to be good.
Oh,
so much for your hot streak, Mike.
Hey, you can't win them all. I tried.
Oh yeah,
my
you
God.
lost that one horrible.
I love the third act though. It's like brutal
God.
and the practical effect work with that person that actually does all the stunts. I mean, I thought it
can't
was
stress how much
amazing.
I hated it. I hated it.
boy.
So
honestly-
basically, it's your Bone Tomahawk.
Like,
Yeah, I did
the
it
other
before
two
you did,
movies-
Derek.
The other two movies didn't make me mad. This one made me mad because I was totally. I'm like, we're like 2/3 in. I'm like, Mike nailed it again. Holy hell, Mike knows my stuff. He's killing it. And then the last act started. I'm like, God damn it, Mike, what'd you do to me? Oh man,
Got a typical third act breakup that ruined the movie.
God, it's a different movie in the third act. It's completely an
And I only would watch it for the third act, so that's the funny thing about that.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
it's so boring.
Wow.
Let's get to something happening.
Oh
And then
God,
third act happens, and I'm like, this is amazing.
that boring first hour was really good. I liked that.
Well,
I tried to recommend you something equally boring and good, so that was my goal this time.
Oh my god!
It's funny. I've said it before. Mike and I are like the exact polar opposites. What he's looking for is the exact opposite of what I'm looking for. It's funny. It's funny how that works.
Even within the same film.
Yeah, that's great.
So yes. As a recommendation, it's a popular movie that a lot of people love. I heard lots of hype on Cobweb. So it's a solid 4 on a recommendation. I completely understand why you recommended it. As a movie, it was a 4 out of 5 that was turning into a 0.5. The third act absolutely killed it to me. It's like a 1. I'll never return to it. The first 2/3 will never be returned to after that last act. Screw that movie. Anyways.
All right then.
You did make me want to watch it more though, just because I want to see
Jeez.
acts
I think Derek will like the third act too. So,
but it depends on what kind of movie the first 2 acts are.
Actually, I think
movie's halfway through.
I think he'd dig the first bit more than the last, to be honest. I don't know. Oh God. Anyways, let's
It's hard to shake it off, isn't it, Tim? I'm telling you. It's tough.
It's the only one that made me angry.
Yeah.
it had to happen sometime. You know?
I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
Horror movies are tough though, because
I will say this. I'm tough to recommend horror to. I am not.
Yeah.
I'm more picky than a lot of people on horror. Like, there's the stuff I love, and then a lot of other stuff that people praise, and I'm very picky. So I'll say that. So it's hard to please me on horror. So now, Hux.
Here we go.
This is. I understand why you gave it for horror, because I mean there is.
This is what we recommended to.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Heavy metal. Yes, he recommended me heavy metal. I never saw it, and my kind of blah on this probably comes from the fact that I never saw this when I was younger, and I don't know if maybe it doesn't connect as much now. I don't have nostalgia for it.
Yeah,
dude, this movie bored the hell out of me.
Oh, did it?
I
was wondering. Yeah.
There's cool animation, but it felt like I was on an acid fever dream, the whole thing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So when I was younger, I saw them Pink Floyd's The Wall, which is also an acid fever dream.
Very much.
Because I have those fond memories, I like The Wall. I didn't grow up with heavy metal, so it didn't connect with me at all while I was watching it. It's an anthology for anyone watching, which a lot of people have probably already seen it. And every story is, I don't know, very different, but very bleh. I didn't really connect much. But I will say the first story, I swear, Luc Besson definitely grabbed Corbin Dallas from that Harry character. That I was totally getting Fifth Element vibes from that first short. That I thought was kind of cool, but then the movie was just, by the end, the only thing that made me actually legit care in the movie was the little pterodactyl thing that got shot in the neck at the end.
Yeah, the poor thing.
Animals.
That was the only thing. The music, for as much as heavy metal is hyped up as this heavy metal movie, it didn't feel like the music had any consequence to what's happening. For some reason, I guess I was expecting something like a Pink Floyd The Wall, which the movie is built around the music. Yeah. But it feels like this is
or something.
Yeah, but this feels more like, hey, this is just these weird sci-fi type, little shorts, and here's some heavy metal music to go in with it. Didn't
in
feel
the background.
It felt like it was just kind of there, which at that point,
probably
with
was.
the sound mix in it, again, I don't. It was, I don't know, some of it felt kind of just drowned out. I was like, what's the point of this then? Why do we have this heavy metal music going? So it was, I completely understand why you recommended it, because I like metal, I like art, and I do like animated stuff. So I get it. So it's a 4 out of 5 on a recommendation. It should be Tim.
It should, yeah. And titties. Don't forget that.
Oh, there's so many.
That's the number one thing about the movie.
Which,
I know.
That's another thing too. There's so much animated titties that it was like the animators were like, well, this is for adults. Shit, we need to make all of the women as naked as possible all the
I know,
time.
right?
Which kind of detracts from things. It's just
Yeah, or not when you're an 18-year-old. It adds to it.
and the animators were good.
I'm sorry. I guess it was the 18-year-old Huck must have recommended that to you.
Yeah.
So,
Just makes me think of the South Park episode where they make fun of heavy metal because I'm like, I don't even need to see the movie now because I've seen that episode 5 times.
Okay.
As
They're
an
high on
adult-
cat pee and everything their trips turn into heavy metal.
as an adult watching, though, I wish it connected with me more. Like it was
I
like
get it.
it was like maybe a 2 as a movie, maybe something like that. It was
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get why people like it. I'll just say that. Yeah. What was with the weird little story on just a girl getting abducted and marrying a robot? That felt like totally
Right?
like what?
Although that was one that also had John Candy and I think who was the other one? Well, had a lot of Second City guys as the voiceover artists in there,
Well,
and John
okay.
Candy did like 2 different voices.
Yeah, John Candy was also the young kid that became that other guy.
Yeah, the Jack dude.
Yeah,
Den. He was Den of Earth.
yeah,
He's like no hair. His like hair's gone, but he's a little Jack.
yeah. So I get why you recommended it.
Right on.
And then-
not me.
On to Derek. Derek recommended the movie Fade to Black for me. Shockingly, Derek is not at the bottom of the pile this time for recommendations.
Top of it.
The top is still it's a very low hill. I still didn't love this movie
Yeah.
at all.
Take it easy, Derek.
At the top of
Just
it.
like that. That's all it is.
The top is the top. It doesn't matter
Not
how
like
low
that.
it is.
Top of the top.
All right, so in theory, Fade to Black is very Tim. There is classic Hollywood thrown all over this movie. There's classic posters, references, clips thrown in. Like this is Tim. The problem comes in. This is 2 completely different movies just slammed together, and I would have rather have either one more. So it starts off for a long time. It's this melodrama essentially about this character who nothing in his life is going right for him. He loves the movies, but his life is just shit. I was digging that. Then it becomes essentially killing people in the vein of movies, but still kind of keeping that dour sensibilities of what was going on before. And I wanted either more of the drama with none of the slasher stuff, or take the slasher stuff and have more fun with it and make that the movie. Like there's parts of the slasher aspect that I'm like, if they actually went gung-ho with this, I would like it more. Or if they actually committed to the drama part and just made it not a horror and took the slasher stuff out, I would have dug it. But instead they put the 2 together and I'm like, I don't love this at all as a whole. Like there's cool moments. I mean, he dresses up as a Western cowboy to duel someone. Like that was kind of cool, but it doesn't lean into that stuff enough. Like its tone for how silly some of the slasher stuff is, it doesn't lean into it. Like it's not fun. Like I either wanted the fun slasher or the drama, not a drama slasher, is what it ends up becoming. And I wanted to like it more, but I didn't hate it. It's a solid, like it's a 2.5. It's a middle of the road. It's fine. It exists. It's a low
It's about
hill.
as much as I thought you'd like it, honestly. I just figured it'd be up your alley a little bit.
Yeah. I
was a
did like
crapshoot.
there was lots of clips thrown in of classic movies and stuff like that. And so he's throwing out classic movie trivia galore. And like, it is such a throwback to old Hollywood. Like, it just needed to lean more into that stuff as a slasher and be more fun, or ditch the slasher aspect altogether. One of the two, instead of this weird hybrid, whatever the hell movie it is. So, yeah, I mean, 2.5 recommendation wise. Again, I completely get why you recommended it. It's old Hollywood stuff thrown all over that. That's totally Tim. That's easily like a 3.5 at 4 out of a recommendation, because that's Tim. I get it. It's kind of blah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, yeah, because I sort of agree with you. although they do shift
Sort of agree with
but like, yeah, they do have a lot of horror stuff and they have a lot of dramatic stuff. But I was sort of surprised that the actual tone of the film doesn't really change. Like, because if it went too goofy, it would be like a weird tonal shift that also wouldn't work.
Yeah, well, I think I would have wanted them to not start out so dramatic then and just kind of be a goofy slasher that he's killing based off of movies if they were going the slasher aspect. Like, kind of lean full ham into it. Like the cowboy one was kind of fun. Like, that was kind of a fun kill. Like, lean kind of into that more, or just ditch all of the slasher stuff. And I was totally into this dude's life is shit. Like, I was into that aspect too. And then it's like, but it's also a slasher. Okay.
I guess. But then you won't have anything to do. It would just be him crying in his apartment with his mom or whatever.
I don't need things to be tied up. I was enjoying his depressing life.
Fair enough.
Good to know. So, Tim, you just need a good night's sleep after these 3 pieces of crap, is what I'm hearing.
I don't feel bad on this one for Tim. It's like,
Yeah, have a drink, get a beer or something. I don't know.
I half tried on this one.
So, for context for people, I watched all of these today. I got them all in, and
Cram for that exam.
it was such an unsatisfying triple feature that I had to put on.
we ruined Tim's
You're
Sunday. That's
welcome.
what happened.
I
Oh
had
my
to put
God,
on.
that's hilarious.
Can we change the name of this show to Unsatisfying Triple
I know, it's like the anti-recommendation show at this point.
Oh,
I
it's the worst.
I
stuff.
had to put on. I put Muppets Take Manhattan on just to have a palate cleanser. I was
I
like,
saw that. That's great.
I need something just to make me smile after these 3 fucking movies. It was.
I think we need to let Tim go. All right, Mike.
Oh, God. All right. How do I follow that up now? Well, we'll go from the best to the worst. We will save the rant for the end because I get fired up on those.
Rant
So,
on 9.
Of course.
Yes.
But we'll start with the best one. And good job, Huck. We got the Frighteners.
Woo! I got
Probably
one
me,
good
but
thing
I
today.
recommended Frighteners.
We'll
I
just
agree.
cut to the chase here. I mean, this is amazing, awesome sauce. It's like my top 10 of family spooky movies now. I'm going to watch this every spooky season. It just
So
has
good.
everything in it. First, you got Michael J. Fox in there. I mean, Back to the Future guy. Absolutely amazing in this role. And he basically plays a con artist where he has these ghosts haunt people. And then he goes in and is like, oh, you're being haunted. Here's my card. Now I'm going to charge you and get rid of these ghosts for you. I love that setup. And I didn't even expect it. Like, he's just running into this person's yard, like driving over, hitting things over. And I'm like, what's happening here? But it's so funny. So many laugh out loud moments. I love the effects in here too. Like, the ghosts look great. I love when the ghosts are like popping out of the wall too, like the evil villain ghost. Like,
Oh,
you
so
think it
cool,
would
yeah.
be really cheesy today, and it kind of is because the effects don't hold up as well, but it's
Yeah.
still cool looking and it gives it a certain personality to the film. Like, I'm happy with it. I'll take that all day. And so you just have this mystery story of why this villain ghoul death creature, I guess you want to say, is taking out these ghosts, right? Is taking out these people, stopping their heart, all that type of stuff. And you're like, what's this mystery? What's happening here? You're like, why can Michael J. Fox see these ghosts? So there's a lot of questions you have throughout the film. But it's super entertaining. It's like full gas pedal from the start, and it just keeps going till the very end. You get romance in there too. So you get like comedy in there, you get romance, you get spookiness. There's kills in there, and some of them get kind of brutal for a family spooky movie. And what's the rating on this? This has to be at least like PG-13,
No, it's
right?
rated
R. It's R.
Oh,
Is it?
that
Is it R?
explains it.
I'm
That
pretty sure it's
explains
R.
it.
But
Okay.
look on
People
the
get their
back
heads
of
blown
the
off and
case.
it's rated R.
Does it say on the back that it's R?
It is rated
Oh,
R.
Peters, it's
Oh,
rated R.
wow.
That makes more sense then. I'm like, this is kind of brutal for like a PG-13 family spooky movie.
Wow.
It's 80s
I
It kind of
That's
sets
what
it
we
up
call
in that family vibe though, because there's like a charisma and like a comedy charm to it, so you wouldn't expect it to be rated R.
I think it's just the Michael J. Fox effect.
Yeah, yeah, I
That
think
must
so.
be it. Mhm.
I don't think
Okay,
he's
that
in a lot of
makes sense
R-rated
then.
movies.
So maybe not a family spooky movie then.
Yeah. A mature family.
I
Yeah,
think it is. I saw it in theaters when it came out. And I was 10 years old, and I loved it. So
it's
There you go.
awesome though. Oh,
I forgot you recommended that because we said my favorite. I'm like, oh, it might be mine. I'm like, all right, Frighteners. Okay.
oh,
Yes,
it was
it's
so
amazing.
good. I don't know how I missed out on that
Yay.
one for the longest time, but it's just like it's so good. It's
It's
like
so
the
good.
new Hocus Pocus. Like that, it took me.
Yeah.
off.
There you go.
Except it's like good and stuff.
Derek always taking his shit and stuff.
Well, you know what? I should have watched the director's cut. I totally forgot you guys recommended that one. I only saw the theatrical cut, so I have to go back now and watch the director's cut.
There you
Because the
go.
theatrical cut was great, so the director's cut must be even better. So
And Jeffrey Combs in that movie is just amazing.
I'm terrible with actor names.
He's like the weird police officer who's like trying to arrest him the whole time.
Oh,
He's like
yeah,
a reanimator.
Yeah, reanimator guy.
So funny in that movie, and he's like a cultist, and he's got all these like scars on his chest. Oh, he's so weird in that. I love it.
And he was in every Star Trek series. For all
Oh,
you,
is he?
for all you Trek nerds out there. Yeah, he had a major
Everyone.
he had a major role in almost each franchise, which is pretty great.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces. Like even the villain in there had a familiar face, but I could not remember the name.
Jake Busey.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was
And,
a
and then the
movie.
crazy lady is E.T.'s mom, or
Oh, yeah.
Elliot's mom from E.T. D. Wallace or whatever.
But it was a movie that did a great job of keeping you on your toes, having a mystery to it. But by the end, it explained everything. So I was totally happy with it. So I'm like, very satisfying ending. Didn't leave
Yeah.
anything hanging. Very happy with that one. So that was one I'm like, I want to rewatch this one again. So good job, Huck. I'll give it
Yay! That's
across
what I
the
won.
boards, 5 across the board. I was not
Woo!
expecting to ever give a 5 on this stream. That only takes, you only get a 5 from me if you make one of my top 10 lists. So made top 10 family spooky movies. So there you
That's
go.
rated R.
Yeah, it's rated
I'm
R.
still gonna count it. Okay.
That's not in theaters, it's for families, okay?
Although maybe by today they might rate it PG-13. You
Yeah.
know.
If in the
Exactly.
80s, it would have been
There you
PG.
go.
It'd been like
Mhm.
Poltergeist. In the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. All right. Next up on the list, we'll go to my next favorite here. This is going to be from Derek. Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia is fun.
Yeah. Which great recommendation because it was a super cheap deal. It was like $6. Absolutely love that. But it's awesome because it's pretty much a spooky. Now this is definitely spooky family. This isn't rated R.
Yeah, this is
definitely
PG-13,
everybody-
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got Jeff Daniels in here who basically moves to this, kind of rural town area as the new doctor. He's supposed to take over as the town doctor because apparently this town only has one doctor because the population is so small. But then the old doctor doesn't want to leave his job. So that was kind of funny too. But yeah, the family's great in here. Apparently you got these spiders that came from another country. I forgot what the area was, but I think it was Central or South America. And a spider comes over to this new rural town.
Yep.
It mates with another spider, I think, and it has spider babies in the barn. And then all these spiders are running all over the town, attacking, biting people, and they're dying. And the current doctor is like, oh, we don't want to do autopsies here. We don't want to find out. We got to respect the dead. And Jeff Daniels like, what? We got to check out what's happening. This is so weird. But yeah, it's a fun movie. But if you hate spiders, it's a tough watch for sure. Me and Anna were watching this together, and we were both gasping because we're not big fans of spiders. So spiders everywhere, every second. It was like, oh my gosh, those things are super creepy. But yeah, this was a super fun movie. I love the spider effects in there too. And I think they were saying they were real spiders, if I remember correctly from the special features. A lot of them.
At least
That was
most of
really
them are
fun.
real.
Yeah. So I like the effect work here. Great cast of characters, fun story, and a satisfying ending as well. So yeah, Arachnophobia, really good. And it's a Disney movie. And it just reminded me of the days when Disney did good family spooky movies. It's like we should get back to that. But there you go.
Also,
Arachnophobia.
John
Very
Goodman.
good.
You got to mention John Goodman when you talk about Arachnophobia.
Oh, John Goodman is
Yeah.
so good in there.
I was gonna say, the Exterminator.
He comes in
Take
with
out
the
bad wood, put in
Exterminator
good wood.
guns at the end. Yeah. And he's all,
But they
he's so
totally
good in that.
advertised that though, like
As a John Goodman movie.
and it's
Yeah.
not.
Talk about
Yeah, but he's
leaning on the
awesome
big
in it,
star. It's like, there it is. It's a John Goodman movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Tim, you say, because when I rewatched it with Becky last year, and forgot how little he's in the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's like totally a Cary Elwes movie. It's like nothing to do with, or
Jeff
right?
Daniels.
Daniels.
Jeff Daniels movie.
Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cary
With
Elwes.
Cary Elwes.
Yeah.
I
You
wish.
know, the Cary Elwes cameo. But yeah, he's so barely in that movie.
Yeah.
But he's
he's-
memorable when he
Yes,
is.
very memorable. He's
But-
funny too in that movie. The movie had a good balance of like comedy and like thrilliness to it. So it's like a horror spooky comedy, I guess you could
Yeah,
say.
it's a good horror comedy where it's
Yeah.
not like obviously a comedy, but it's just like a good movie that has it just has a sense of humor. It's how I would say it. It's not trying to be funny. It just is genuinely funny.
Yeah, just naturally situational funny. Yeah. All right. The
Bring
last
it, Mike.
Ooh, all right. This one made me mad too, Tim. So now I don't feel bad. Okay, well, first of all, let's start off with the journey to get this movie. So Tim recommends it, and I'm like, okay, let's go on my go-to spot, Amazon. And I'm like, what, $130 for this? I'm like, this must be a great movie. I mean, I almost had to go to the ATM to pick up ATM. That was the ridiculousness, first of all. But finally, I found it cheaper on eBay for like $30.
You could
Still
stream
paid-
though for future.
Well, we're collectors here. I collect.
We're not that.
Yes, but you
collectors.
collect it after you know you like it. Like I'm not
Yeah.
collecting Bone Tomahawk.
Or if it's at
Well,
least
and I'm a collector.
Yes.
Well, now
Like
I
if
know.
I collected
Now I
Bone
know.
Tomahawk, I would kill Derek.
Yeah, if I pre-bought
If you send
Cobweb,
me the steelbook, I'll send
I'd
you
be
the
pissed.
free.
Yeah, see, Tim gets me.
Well, I learned my lesson then. But anyway, okay, ATM.
Yeah.
What the heck is this movie about? First of all, like,
You tell
okay,
us.
so you got Josh Peck in here, you got another guy and some girl or something. I don't know what's going on. If it's a love triangle, it's kind of weird. But anyway, apparently they're going. I think it was to a party or something, right? But they stop at an ATM in like the middle of the night, which like, why would you do that? But okay, it's like a little building ATM. So the
Yeah.
ATM's like inside this like little glass. I've never seen that, but apparently they exist. I don't
It
know.
exists. Yeah.
Uh,
I've seen
but
it.
anyway, so they go into this ATM building, and then there's some creepy person outside of it. This person wearing this coat where apparently you can't see their face for some reason, which makes no sense. You would totally be able to see it. But anyway, they're just being stalked by this person, and they're wondering, okay, why is this person stalking us? Like, what's going on with this person? And then they randomly like kill somebody outside, and they're like, oh, okay, this is serious now. This guy's after us for some reason. And they're all thinking, okay, why is he after us? Is it because we screwed somebody over financially on Wall Street type of stuff? What's going on with this? But it's like they don't do anything. They just hang out in this ATM building like something's going to happen. Like they have no really solid plan. They're just like hanging out in there. Oh, that is so stupid. Okay, they're like, oh, we're going to freeze in here. I'm like, I know I'm used to California, so the weather, I get it. I don't know. But like they're in decently enough warm clothing to where if you're in an enclosed building, like you'll be very cold and uncomfortable, but you're not going to freeze to death. They're being a little dramatic there, I would say. But anyway, it's just like
I can vouch for that.
yeah, it's like they're just hanging out in there and they don't have any plan. Like just all three run different directions. Maybe he'll get one of you, but at least two will get away. But they're just like meandering. They're not really doing it. They're just talking. And I don't even get what this slasher person is doing. It is not explained by the end. Or if it is, it went over my head. Like,
It's not.
can you explain? Okay. I'm like, am I missing something? Like, because
Yeah.
I'm spoiling
I
this for
guess
everybody. You don't. It doesn't matter anyway. You don't need to watch.
Yeah.
this. People out
I
there.
guess that's a difference. I don't. I got to think about it for you for the future. I don't need explanations. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like
I mean, for this, I do. Like, why is this person wasting their night just stalking these people in an ATM? Like, they're not after money or whatever because they try to even like throw a wallet at them.
Maybe he has
to make
marital
them go away.
problems like Russell Crowe.
Well, that was explained though, in Unheaded. We got enough there. In this movie, we don't get anything. And oh my gosh, like I thought Josh Peck was going to be great in this because he's awesome in Drake and Josh. He is awful in this movie. He is just awful, like unexpressions a lot of the time. It's just like he's bored to be there, like phoning it in. It's come on, Josh Peck. What are we? We were much better in Oppenheimer for our little scene, but this movie frustrated me. 'Cause by the
Yeah.
end, I'm just like, why? And there wasn't even. I mean, there's a few kills in there, but not like enough to even be exciting in terms of a slasher movie. The mystery isn't that great. The acting's terrible. Like, what is this? Like, I thought this was a joke afterwards. I'm like, this had to have been a joke recommendation. There is
Stings,
no
part two.
way this was a legit recommendation in here. Oh gosh.
Yeah. No, I
Oh,
legit.
and it gets even. I'm spoiling stuff. I don't even care. So then this other person comes over to
Go, Mark,
ATM
go.
at night, okay, and
Yeah.
in the same jacket, but I mean, it's not like a very uncommon kind of jacket. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have this jacket, and they just kill the guy. Like, can you like ask him something first? Like, I don't know. Like, verify. Like, he wasn't even seeming that hostile. Where it's like, I don't know. There was no plan in here with these people. There was just no logic to it. It was just very no. Like, I was over these characters. It's like, get them person with the jacket out there. I don't know what you're doing, but sure, why not? Who cares about them anyway at this point? It made no sense. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. It's so
it's a horror movie about stupid characters.
I'm glad that we all had one of these.
Okay, so I gotta be fair on the score though. Well, for a recommendation, I'll give a 3 because I'm pretty easy on horror and slasher movies. I see where you're going with it. I'm fine with Josh Peck usually, so I'll give it a 3 for recommendation. Solid enough. Oh man, I wanted to give it a 1. I'm not gonna give it a 1 though. No, because that's like offensively bad. It wasn't offensively bad. It was just like really bad. So I'll give it a 2. And I don't do 0.5s. I don't know where these 0.5s came out of tonight. Everybody was giving 0.5. No, I'll give it a 2. I'll give it a 2 out of 5. But that's a sad one to have in the collection now.
I told you, Mike, my 0.5.
In there now.
$5
Dollar Tree title at best, though.
You need to stream stuff, man. Like,
well, now I know. I didn't know it was going to be that bad.
I rented VFW for a reason, and it was my favorite of my 3 movies I watched. For God's sake!
But you have to, because they're obviously so like I cannot like stuff from the other guys, but like say you and I are drastically on different like planets when it comes to what we like. So like if I recommend something in my mind, I'm thinking I really liked it because of this. And just like you recommended Cobweb, thinking because you like that third act, and I hated the third act. And like I like an ATM not hearing anything about, like I like the mystery of not knowing, but you don't. So like that's why definitely you got to stream, man. You have
this
to.
Logic process. I wish the ATM characters had more of that thinking, but
I think it's funny that Tim hates movies with dumb horror movie characters, but he likes ATM with dumb horror movie characters.
Like, it wasn't even like fun slashing though. Like, if you're gonna make like a bad slashing movie, you gotta have more fun with it. And it just wasn't having any fun either. I don't know. It was, oh my. This is wild.
Like if it was a goofy movie, it'd been not literally a goofy movie, but a goofy
yeah,
movie.
because they were trying to take it serious. Like, it's not a horror comedy, I wouldn't say.
No.
They were trying to make a serious film. Just failed in every aspect.
They should have not made it a serious
Take
film.
Mama Blu-ray's advice and hit likes for the panel because we all suffered.
Thank you, Mama
apparently.
Blu-ray.
We suffered
Gotta get you a
severely.
shirt
on
for
We all
Christmas.
suffered 6 and/or more so hours of mediocrity this week.
Well, I feel good though about The Frighteners was amazing, so it was worth it on that alone. Arachnophobia, really, really good. So if I have to take an ATM for those 2 movies, you know, I had to do what I had to do. But
It probably cost as much as the other 2 put together. That's the sad part. More so, actually. I'll take that from Tomahawk Steelbook if it shows up at your house, Huck, just so you know.
I've already canceled it.
It might
I said,
show up.
why? I said, because Derek. It was like,
Derek,
there was a
that's
drop
why.
down that said, because Derek.
Just put Derek the
recommends
Convicted Cinephile,
that.
and then you put my link to my YouTube page in there just from. Yeah.
Yeah, it said it's going to charge you for the return.
Okay.
So I was like,
I
no
told you to go to
problem.
Menards, buy it for $5, but you didn't listen.
I'm glad. Well, one, we don't have those out here, so
Yeah, well, yeah, you probably don't have Menards. I just thought of that. It's a northern thing for you kids.
Whew, we made it. We made it. Wow. All right, so I guess so. What do we do? Do I always say like pick our favorites? So, Mike, your favorite was The Frighteners. I'd say mine
Yeah.
was Unhinged.
Mine was shockingly VFW, but not by a lot. Let's put it that way.
hey, I'll take it.
For
And
me,
Tim, marginally, you didn't really have a favorite. You just had your
if
least.
I could say
crap.
none,
What's your
I would
least
say none.
hated movie you saw?
Yeah, my least hated is Fade to Black.
Yeah.
But this was a swing and a miss for me. So
Yeah.
Was it better than Things in Setsu the Iron Man?
Are we improving to?
well, you declined
I
horribly.
declined. Sorry, I did not improve for you.
But Derek went up, and this was my least favorite of Hux. But it was still, yeah.
Understood.
It was a film.
It was a film.
I will say no. So I'm going to say it now. We have a Collectors Club, a regular standard Collectors Club episode that we do every month at the end of this month. And then that's where we're going to recommend our next batch. And that's going to be holiday movies, so that we'll actually be doing the stream talking about them in December.
In December.
We'll be talking about the holiday recommendations. And
Yeah.
I feel like holiday movies are much more even. It's not like, I think we're all gonna be relatively happy, right? There's not a whole lot of
Let's
offensive.
hope.
There's not as
I
many.
mean, if there's a bone Santa Claus, I'm going to kill someone. Is all I'm saying.
Honestly, if that existed, I would buy it. No question asked. As long as it was Kurt Russell. If you what's that movie he's Santa in?
Oh yeah, the Chronicles, Santa.
Yeah, Bone
Christmas
Tomahawk,
Chronicles.
way better than either of those.
I'm going to choke you
Make a
so
bone.
quick.
Yeah, I'm super tough to have horror recommended to, and my mind, like, horror's tough. The horror will be tough for future ones too.
I thought
It
it was
was.
easy until Tim.
No,
Tim's recommendation. I'm like,
I
no.
like, you give me the slowest, most meandering, no anything told what's happening. I'm in for that. I don't want freaking crazy Spider Women or whatever. I don't want to, like, I just, yeah.
So I gotta
Cowboy
find the
is so good,
slowest,
everybody.
slowest
Everybody
movie.
watch it.
All right, I got
I
it.
didn't get recommended any horror movies. That was my problem. Oh, I forgot to mention, Tim, that the VFW also has the girl from now I forgot the name of it. This UFO one you and Huck loved, and I loved when I watched it.
Oh, the one
Fate.
from Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Yes, Fate. Was it Amazon Prime one?
Oh,
Tim,
from Vast of Night. It had the
Yes,
Vast of
that's
Night.
the name. She's
Yeah.
in VFW. I was like,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I get to watch it just for her.
All right. Well, there we go. Let's just go around and talk about what we got upcoming here. Huck, I know you got something amazing coming up. What do we
Whew.
got?
All right. We survived the night, boys.
I know. Just shake it off. And
So next Sunday on the 19th, I'm putting together, in honor of Matthew Perry, a Friends
Nice.
trivia. It's an all Friends trivia. I've got 3 slots already filled, got 5 more to go. And again, because this is, you got to be a fan of Friends, because that's all it is. So if you're just a cursory, you barely know it, probably not your jam. But if you're a fan of Friends, I'll be posting on Instagram tomorrow. And everyone just reach out. You can even leave comments here, but tag me in it so I know you want to be on it. And hopefully we can cast it up before Sunday.
awesome.
He'll be there for you. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know if I do well, but it would be fun either way. As long as one of the answers is transponder.
Yeah, well, now
What
I
do I
gotta take that one out.
I'm gonna do more Criterion pickups just because it's Criterion month and people actually watched that video. It was great. I have over 2,000 views now on my Criterion haul / shopping at Mall of America video. I did my entire Criterion collection video / recommendation video. I figured I'd merge the two, so I just talk about all of my Criterion films I own and the ones I want you to go buy right now on 4K mostly. And then I'm going to go shopping this week, tomorrow actually, for some more. So that'll be up soon. Other than that, what Tim said, Collectors Club coming in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it'll be November 26th. We'll have I'm still toying. I'm the host. It'll be on my channel.
There you go.
It's going to be a Collectors Club episode. All the other stuff will be announced. Otherwise, I have videos coming. I'll have a out shopping at Barnes & Noble for Criterion video coming, and my Criterion selection at my Barnes & Nobles is awful. So that's a spoiler alert.
All right.
But yeah, this was fun. I look more forward to our holiday recommendations. I'm gonna
We
say
can
that.
only go up from here, right, Tim?
I think so.
I think holiday is pretty overall crowd pleasing, at least enough. I don't know how many. I don't think I've watched any offensively bad horror movie or horror. God, I've watched plenty Christmas movies though, like holiday movies. I don't think I've watched any that are that bad.
As long as they're not Hallmark movies.
You're watching. I'm going to give you a Hallmark now.
We're not taking those off the table, Derek. No.
Yeah, I don't. Now Derek is getting Hallmark.
Like from all of us. Yeah.
All of us give Derek Hallmark. Yes.
Ray, let's go.
I sat through things. You think you can hurt me?
No, but we can depress you. You're unhurtable. You're like a killing machine.
And then, of course, tons of stuff on my channel. If you want to go watch the replay of anything, you can rewatch the replay of the last Collectors Club episode. If you love horror movies, you're watching this stream right now, you probably want to go check out the Super Slasher Spectacular. If you missed that one, that was a lot of fun. And, of course, we already brought up it's Criterion month. So a lot of good Criterion stuff out there. We did a November sale pregame show with an amazing panel. Gave some awesome recommendations. We're going to do a post game for that when the sale is over. And then I even dropped a Criterion video where I ranked every single Criterion title I have in my collection from the best, actually from the worst to the best. So that was fun. And then, of course, videos dropping every day. Tomorrow is our Amazon deal video. So a lot of Black Friday deals already happening right now. Like everything's like $10 or at least under 15, and it's a great time to be a collector. So save yourself some money. Don't go buy ATM, buy these instead. So there we go. But thanks, audience, for joining us tonight. You are amazing in the comments, of course. And just have a good one out there. And I don't know, go watch some of these out of our recommendations. I guess we would say on this one, right? All right, have a good night,
Watch
Good night, everybody. Thanks for